Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that pays tribute to one of the greatest icons in sports. Rest in peace, Arnold Palmer. This is Lost in the Midcard, our special Clash of Champions review show. And so we were going to get into all of the festivities that happened tonight. And as always, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps on the Android platform as well. Just go ahead and search for Lost in the Midcard, and you'll be easily able to find us and know when a new show comes at you every Thursday and Monday after a WWE pay-per-view typically. We are also on YouTube, and the links to both of our subscription links there are on our notes section of our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. And we are also on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. And as always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, aside from our NFL teams, how you doing?
It hasn't been a good day. You know, honestly, from top to bottom, it hasn't been a good day. And I was really hoping Clash of Champions would fix some of that, and I felt tonight's pay-per-view, instead of being entitled Clash of Champions, it should have been Clash of Great Wrestling against Shitty Creative Booking, because really this pay-per-view was full of it, from top to bottom. Just some bad choices, really odd decisions, and just the talent busted their ass tonight. Like, there was not a bad match on the card. No. Like, I think every single match, wrestling-wise, delivered in a big way, and I think they were all excellent. But I would say very few of the creative choices were correct tonight, and it didn't go well to me. Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about tonight regarding the show.
We'll get into those creative choices once we get into the show. Our special 5 count, as always, will be taking place tonight. Best things that have happened since the brand split.
I remembered it this time.
Matt remembered it this time. We got a good list. I was curious to see how we match up. This is kind of a broad kind of topic, so there could be we could have went 2 different directions. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I will unveil my new LITMC Ultimate Power Rankings. It felt like it'd been a while. Well, yeah, because I was gone the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, you missed the pay-per-view we could have actually been happy and beaming about afterwards. You missed Backlash, but you had to be here for Clash.
But I will, I was gonna let you know there was gonna be a new number 1 this week, but I'll get into that. It's not going to be a new number 1 anymore. And I'll tell you why. I will tell you why in just once we get to it.
That's a hook.
Yes. I had a new number 1 all set and ready to go, but yeah. I'll explain.
You got me curious. I have no idea what it's going to be.
And a brand new entrant into the Ultimate Power Rankings that will make Matt happy.
Oh, well, I need to be happy tonight, so that works.
Yes, you do. And for those Top Slam fans out there, Matt did get a Black Eva Marie card, so that's got to make you a little happy today.
Yeah, well, it's the little things that get you through
the little things. Only a handful of headlines, and by a handful, I mean 4. It's only been 2 days between shows, so that's probably part of it, but... Impact rating continues to go strong. It increases again to 377,000. I have been busy as hell lately, so I have not had a chance to watch Impact the last couple of weeks. But it's continuing to be strong. Did you get to watch it this week, Matt?
Yeah, I think I saw most of it. Probably saw like 87%.
Um, and what'd you think of the Cody Rhodes vignette?
There really wasn't much to it.
Yeah,
It was like a 30-second clip. I mean, I thought we talked about this on the last show.
we mentioned it. Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
mentioned that there was one because we were recording as
Did you end up
Impactors.
getting to see it?
Yep, I saw
Yeah,
it. Yeah, what was that you cut out there?
there wasn't much to it. Am I
Yeah,
right?
it was almost it was almost in the same vein as what they put their teaser they put on Twitter earlier in the day too. So yeah, there wasn't much new except for Cody talking, and he's at Bound for Glory. So let's see what happens. Apparently, he had helped the Hardys over the weekend as Matt Hardy took to Twitter and thanked
I
Brother
saw
Garrett.
that.
He thanked Brother Garrett for his assistance. Joey Styles has announced, or Beyond Wrestling has announced that former ECW and WWE announcer Joey Styles will debut for the promotion next Sunday, October 2nd in Somerville, Massachusetts at Midas Touch. Joey will be doing a meet and greet with VIP ticket holders before the show. So if you are up in the Massachusetts area and want to meet Joey Styles, it's a good way to do it. Last night, Orton Lesnar 2 happened in Chicago. Brock Lesnar defeated Randy Orton with an F5 in what was called a great match in Chicago. They said it was a Suplex City death match. I'm not sure what that means, but they said it was a big,
It was
good
a fancy word for a no DQ match.
They said it was a good back and forth brawl with steel chairs getting used, and a lot of people saying it was it was superior to the SummerSlam match, but it's kind of hard to, kind of hard.
I actually heard a lot of people that have seen the match through various means have told me that they enjoy. I hear it was only like 6 or 7 minutes. But everybody who saw it has told me that they thought it was superior to the SummerSlam match. So, thanks for putting that on the network, WWE. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, hello, hey, dummy. Yeah, Eli Drake making a lot of appearances today.
Well, there's a lot of dummies out there, so
Yeah, especially some that try to respond to Matt over some stupid stuff. Matt Sydal, there's been some rumors swirling around about Matt Sydal missing the last few New Japan tours. There was apparently an issue with his passport and not being able to be allowed into the country. Sydal took to Twitter and said that he is currently in Hawaii after the passport issues at the border. He noted that he realized people were concerned and apologized, noting, "I'm the kind of guy that likes to go off the grid sometimes." There are all sorts of rumors about what the issue is exactly, but no one has gone on record to confirm or deny anything. So that was according to Mike Johnson at PW Insider. So if there's any other further updates on the Matt Sydal situation, we will let you know. So that's it for the headlines, because basically it's been 2 days between shows. So let's get to Clash of Champions. Let's get to Clash of Champions. Kickoff show, Matt, Nia Jax, Alicia Fox. Not bad. Nice little flurry of offense from Alicia Fox, but obviously a predictable result, correct?
I actually thought the match was really good. Easily it was Nia Jax's best show to date on the main roster. I thought Fox looked really good.
Yeah, they didn't completely chop her off.
Yeah, they did not, and I was actually really happy about that, because you don't.
I mean, it was almost her
that with a veteran like Alicia Fox. So
yeah,
I'm glad they didn't.
It almost seemed like it was her toughest test, second toughest test ever, as Bayley being her first.
If we're gonna talk NXT, you have to mention Asuka too.
And Asuka, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, Bayley and Asuka, yeah. I'm sorry, but Alicia Fox did have her stunned at times, and so it was a good kickoff match there. The show starts off with Big E. Actually, they do a video package, and it's kind of weird. They spliced in a bunch of the Tap Out commercial stuff into their nice cheap pop for Tap Out on the open. New Day makes their entrance, and they give out a bunch of free boxes of cereal. And Michael Cole
ain't nothing wrong with that. Those boxes of cereal ain't cheap.
I know. Michael Cole notes that the New Day has held the tag titles for 399 days.
Which should have been a red flag.
And there was a pre-match promo from the New Day. and they were wearing Who t-shirts. Who, who. And so we kick off the match here with New Day and Gallows and Anderson. Very short match. It didn't feel short, but then I see it went 7 minutes, and I'm like, wow, that's weird.
It didn't feel that short to me either.
Yeah. When Kingston fights out of the Magic Killer towards the end and sends Gallows out of the ring, boots to the face of Anderson, and then hits a Trouble in Paradise, and Biggie hits the big ending. I thought that was it. I'm like, whoa, buddy. But only 2 count, and Anderson made the save there. Kingston hits a dive over the top rope to take out Gallows. Woods hits Anderson in the face with the trombone, and the ref did not see it, so the good guys cheat. Biggie picks up Anderson. Kingston comes off the top rope for that big ending, which is called the Midnight Hour. And the New Day retains their titles after a 7-minute match over Anderson and Gallows. And so we can only expect a big Raw extravaganza tomorrow, as the New Day's reign will be 400 days.
I hope that the club win the titles on Raw. I hope they lobby due to the trombone shot that they deserve a rematch. Yeah, I hope WWE just wanted to get them to that 400-day milestone, because they were like a day close, and they let the club win the tag titles tomorrow night. I really do. It's just, I love the New Day, and you love the New Day. We both love the New Day. We've been New Day fans since lost in the Midcard. But they are a franchise unto themselves right now. The New Day move merchandise for the WWE right now at the rate of John Cena, or anybody else you want to put up there in that upper echelon air of merch movers for the company. Like, the New Day absolutely positively does not need the tag team titles anymore. They don't need them. They are absolutely they are above the tag team titles now. They are that important.
Well, when we went to our predictions on 2 days ago here on Lost to the Midcard, and I said this just feels like the right time to take them off them now, even though I thought I said all along on the show they're going to beat Demolition's record of 478 days. I thought all along it was going to lead to that. I predicted as such. This was the first time I did not predict the New Day to win, and look, I was still right. New Day still has the titles. I now think they're going to carry them. They're going to beat Demolition's record. They're 78 days away. Might as well just do it. I know what you're saying, but at the same time,
slippery.
They're going to do it. I think they're just going to do it.
They're risking alienating these guys with their fan base.
And at the same time,
it's such a dangerous, slippery slope that they're on right now.
It is, but they got a huge reaction tonight, even after the win. So that has not really hurt any. That has not seeped in yet.
I'm just saying, there's going to be a point, or the switch is flipped, and the crowd turns. And I've seen it so many times this year already, on people that don't deserve it. You know, I don't want to see it happen to the New Day. I really don't. The 400-day milestone's amazing. I saw a fact online earlier tonight. If they held the titles for 400 days, they'd be the first tag team in 28 years to take a tag title right past the 400-day mark. In my eyes, that is a big enough accomplishment as it is. 28 freaking years. That's huge. That they've held the titles longer than any team has in 28 years. At this point, the club desperately needs a win. It's desperate. Like, unless Gallows and Anderson show up on SmackDown Live Tuesday and realign themselves with AJ Styles, the club need to win these freaking tag titles on Monday night. Because they cut him off from AJ, which they should have never done. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that just don't know there's a lot of common WWE fans who just don't know who the Bullet Club are, or who they were. So they don't understand these guys, and they don't understand what they're all about. So, it hurts them. Their alignment with AJ helps them very much.
If they do go to Survivors, or if they are going to break Demolition's record, they would not relinquish the titles until either a Raw, or if it's a pay-per-view, it wouldn't be until December 18th at Roadblock, because Survivor Series, they would not be there yet at Survivor Series on November 20th.
It's too long, dude.
So I see what you're saying there, but I think it's just the fact that they're there. They're 78 days away. I think they're just going to go with it. But I completely agree with everything you're saying, though. And if they do change the titles on Raw, I'm not going to be mad that they didn't get to Demolition's record. It's perfectly fine. That record's been sitting there for a long time. But you know and I know how the WWE doesn't really care for Demolition. So
yeah,
maybe my initial gut was correct, and they're going to keep them all the way up until December.
But you're gonna literally have a chance of destroying one of your merchandise franchises by holding these titles on them for another 3 months.
I don't know. I mean, Cena held the belt for almost a year at one point.
Yeah, and that's when people started to turn on him.
Yeah.
When Cena won his first...
Yeah, but his merch still sells.
Yes, but when Cena won his first WWE Championship, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Everybody was so happy that Cena beat JBL for the WWE Championship.
Yep.
And then the longer the reign went on, and the longer the Super Cena persona went on that he couldn't be beat, people started to turn. And even after Cena has lost, he still has not gotten that crowd back. Like, just don't do this. Don't do it to the New Day. Don't do it to them. It just... the club have to win the titles on Raw Monday. And if they don't, like... the one thing that'll make me even madder, and I saw this suggested on Twitter from a couple people tonight, and I'm going to be absolutely furious if this is the case. Mm-hmm. There were some people suggesting that since Cesaro and Sheamus best of 7 went to a no contest in match 7, that the title opportunity that Cesaro and Sheamus get will be for the tag titles, and they'll beat the New Day for the titles.
Oh.
And if you legitimately take a makeshift tag team and throw them together and in their first match win the tag titles from a team that have held them for 400 plus days, I'm going to put my head through a fucking wall.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
I like the idea of them doing either our buddy Mark Cho said have them redo match 7 inside Hell in a Cell. I like that idea. I like your idea that you told me on Twitter. Have it a triple threat match with Kevin Owens for the Universal title.
It doesn't even need to be Kevin Owens. You can do it with Roman.
Roman, yeah.
You can do you can do a triple threat for the United States title. You can do Roman Reigns versus Cesaro versus Sheamus at Hell in a Cell. And dude, those 3 will tear the fucking house down.
Yeah, they will. But yeah, we'll have to see. Next up on the match, Tom Phillips interviews T.J. Perkins, and poor Tom Phillips, man, he sure got the rib with his haircut there on the pre-show, didn't he?
he got burned pretty bad. I don't even remember who it was.
Both Lita. Well, Booker was saying that he got the bowl cut, put the bowl on his head, and went zzz, 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 and then Lita took a jab at him later on. He interviews T.J. Perkins. Perkins talks about how he's been training to be here since 1998, and now he's champion. He knows Brian Kendrick. He's been here before as a champion, and but Perkins is confident he'll walk out of there as the cruiserweight champion. Wish me luck. Again, I'm baffled on how they didn't have him on Raw, but oh well.
Dude, I was so...
What's that? You cut out. Cut out.
I was so worried all week, from Taz to wrestling journalists out there, and everybody's like, the fact that T.J. Perkins wasn't on Raw, and somebody that Vince McMahon knew, and Brian Kendrick was immediately put into the title match on Sunday. Like, Taz was absolutely certain that TJP was dropping the title tonight.
Yeah.
I am so happy he was wrong. That would have killed that poor kid. And I like Kendrick, and I think he should have a run with the title eventually. But for Kendrick to beat Perkins on his first title defense and his first appearance in front of the WWE main crowd, since they didn't let him come out on Raw, would have been a disaster.
Yeah, it just made no sense. That's why, I mean, we talked about that when we did our predictions, and I said it just makes absolutely no sense to have a guy that you haven't shown since he won the Cruiserweight Classic lose on his pay-per-view debut. So,
yeah. Well, I'm very happy it didn't happen. The creative got it right on this match. And Kendrick with the headbutt after the match, after the hug thing, totally keeps the feud alive. They keep going. It ain't done yet.
I love the Mega Man entrance from TJP. Absolutely loved it.
Dude, Mega Man put him over on Twitter.
They did. And he changed his name. Obviously, it used to be something Manic, which of course goes to his teenage days. But he changed it to Mega TJP, and now it makes a lot of sense on why he calls himself Mega TJP now. And I love that. I love that theme music. That was badass.
Yeah, actually, Xavier Woods tweeted after the show. And yes, I'm extremely jealous of at Mega TJP's entrance themes. It's absolutely fantastic.
I was waiting to hear Xavier's thoughts on that.
Yeah, he's very upset that he does not have the retro video game theme of awesomeness. So,
and speaking of entrance themes, I love Kendrick's as well.
No, Kendrick's is classic, dude. The Man with the Plan.
Yeah, I dig it.
Man with the Plan.
Is that's the same he used as the Brian Kendrick when
Correct.
he first?
Absolutely, same thing.
It was Zeke Jackson. So. These guys did the Cruiserweight division proud on their very first pay-per-view. I thought this was an amazing 10-minute match between these guys.
How crazy was it that they changed the ropes and the turnbuckles for that match?
I know. At first, I thought they just shined lights on them because you could tell in the turnbuckles there was a purple light because the padding on the W was purple as well because they had lights on them. At first, I thought that they just did a good job of lighting, but no, I think they did change the ropes. So
yeah, those ropes were. There's no way they could have done a lighting so dark that all the ropes were purple. Like they legit actually changed the freaking ropes after the opening match, which.
Well, they did that WWE Network spot where Hulk Hogan sneaks in there.
Yeah, to me that says that Triple H is even though that Vince still has the final say on the main roster, is fucking pushing to make sure this cruiserweight division gets over on Monday nights. Yeah. So thank you, Hunter. Please keep fighting the good fight, man. We as all wrestling fans very much appreciate it.
The crowd loved it on Monday Night Raw. I think the crowd here, in wherever they are today. Oh, Indy. They're in Indy. Indy loved it. I think the Cruiserweights are off to a hot start. In the match, towards the end of the match here, Perkins hooks the arms into a backbreaker. That was a sick little move there by TJ. Perkins does a Hurricane Rana takedown. While Kendrick was on the ropes, that was sick. Almost not quite as sick as Grand Metalic's Hurricane Rana doing like a high jump over the top rope. That was probably the sickest spot ever. But this one was pretty crazy. Perkins hit this springboard drop kick and went for the knee bar, but Kendrick got out of it. Kendrick hits sliced bread number 2, which I bet probably made you say, oh shit, after everything that's been going down this week.
Yeah, dude. Like every time there was a close fall, I was thinking, shit, this they're gonna fuck TJP over.
Kendrick went for the captain's hook, but Perkins slips out, hits a fireman's carry into a kick, and then slaps on the knee bar and locks it in where Kendrick cannot go anywhere, and Kendrick taps out after a great 10-minute match, a great showing by the Cruiserweights. I think we are in this renaissance like we were with Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Matt. I think we're on another renaissance just like that in WCW.
I hope so. I just hope they don't fuck it up like WCW did.
Yeah. After the match, Perkins was interviewed by Andrea DeMarco, interrupted by Kendrick. Kendrick extends his hand to shake his hand, gives him a hug, but then headbutts him in the face. And So it's good to see. I think I said this on Twitter, or I said this to someone after it happens. I go, I'm glad this happened because we need to have some full-blown heels on that roster, and Kendrick did a good job there. A very cool WWE 2K17 video game commercial aired after that match, and a nice little cameo from Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, I'm sure WWE was thrilled about that.
Cesaro interviewed by Tom Phillips. He's asked how he's going to go about earning his championship opportunity, and how this is going to be the biggest comeback in sports entertainment history. And so then they show a recap of the first 6 matches, which I liked. I really liked how they laid out the. Of course, obviously, the WWE video production team is always top notch. I loved how they went match by match, leading into match number 7. I thought that was really cool. And then they run down all the foreign announced teams. Of course, it's always great to see Funaki on the television. SmackDown #1 announcer. So here we are, best of 7. Cesaro and Sheamus, Matt, and
didn't disappoint.
No, it amazingly, when you're having a 7th match in recent history against the same guy, they came out with some new shit, which was props to both guys for giving us a fresh match.
And hands down, it was the best match of the entire series.
I agree.
And I don't even think it was even close. It was absolutely phenomenal.
What's up with Cesaro hitting a 619?
Dude, you sometimes just gotta pull the wacky shit out, man. I didn't mind it.
That was crazy. Loved it. The thing I don't love is when Cesaro does a springboard corkscrew uppercut and Cole calls it. It takes him a minute to spit out the name of the move.
Cole doesn't know moves.
Cole does not know moves, no.
He knows things that are vintage.
Yeah. Back and forth, brutal, as the entire series has been. Went to the outside for a while, and Cesaro hits a suicide dive. Oh my God, that looked painful.
Could have been the end of his career.
Yeah,
like it was that
right on the top.
It was that close.
Yeah,
like I am so relieved that he's okay. And this goes back to the point a lot of people have been making lately, and I agree with it, man.
Well, Big E, Sasha, yeah.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop. And if you're gonna break something like that out, man, break it out like once in a blue moon, like maybe once every 6 months or something like that. Just I want to see people like Cesaro and Sasha Banks and all them competing for us 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And we lost Daniel Bryan due to his wrestling style early.
Yep.
I don't want to lose anybody else. You know, it's not, those spots aren't worth it long term.
No.
You know, I know they do it to entertain us, and I very much appreciate it. I appreciate them putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment, and I freaking understand it, and I get it. But sometimes it's too much.
But if you do it all the damn time, it doesn't become entertaining. It just becomes same old, same old. So then you're killing yourself for nothing.
I want them to. I really want them as a company to cut back.
I thought
that.
I thought Cesaro was legit hurt because as soon as they rolled him back into the ring, he ate a brogue kick, and I thought, oh, that's it. They changed the cards. You know, I thought, Cesaro was probably going to win. This happened. They made a quick decision and gave Sheamus the win, but Cesaro kicked out.
See, I expected Sheamus to win this match. So if he would have won there, I would not have thought that it was due to the injury or anything. I would have just thought that was the planned finish.
Yeah. Cesaro with a clothesline and a neutralizer, but only gets a 2 count as This Is Awesome chant starts to come down from the arena. Sheamus on the top rope. Cesaro hits an uppercut as Sheamus dove to the outside. Sheamus knocks down Cesaro to the floor with a headbutt, and then Sheamus jumps off the top rope, and Cesaro nails him again with an uppercut. That was a painful looking one. Sheamus hits white noise on the floor as they're both beating the shit out of each other. Cesaro then sends Sheamus over the barricade with a clothesline, and they both bump hard onto the floor. Doctors check on him and say that neither guy can go on anymore. End of the match after 15 minutes. Even though it was a draw, it was probably the best match of the 7 series. How did you feel about it ending in a draw, Matt?
I loved it, to be perfectly honest. I know there's a lot of people that had a problem with it, but I thought the fact that both men wanted to continue, neither man wanted to stop, and that the medical crew forced them to end the match in a no contest, I thought made both men look like legitimate badasses. I thought instead of one guy losing and one guy winning and moving on from each other, I thought it rose the stock of both guys.
Yeah.
With the way this ended, it didn't hurt either guy. They both looked amazing from it. We didn't touch on this earlier, but if you saw the pre-show and Sheamus's interview with the panel, he was full on babyface.
Yeah, he was baby.
Like, he was an absolute babyface promo, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I caught that. I caught he was kind of acting babyface.
So, dude, if this is a way that they're gonna turn Sheamus face out of this, the fight of the warrior or whatever, and they're both like, and they're both gonna get title shots.
When you were talking about that tag team title thing, I almost was gonna. That crossed my mind about the babyface comments on the pre-show, and I just forgot to bring it up when you were mentioning about that feud about that rumor, because I was saying I got into.
I don't really think it's a rumor. It's just a suggestion I saw.
And I was gonna say that what happened on the pre-show could be built towards that, but no, I think these guys tore down the house with 7 great matches. I honestly think the bar was raised for both guys, and you're right. You made a great point that the draw was good because it elevated both guys. I honestly think they should be put in the title match at Hell in a Cell. I think this feud has been so good,
or one or the other. I mean, whether it be U.S. or World. Universal.
I think they should. I think you should put him. I think you should put him in the Universal. I think you should.
Well, what do you do with Rollins? You put him in there with Jericho?
Could be a good match, at least.
I mean, that we get Rollins away from the title for the moment. I mean, they can't do Reigns.
And now that all 3 Shield members are face,
Reigns has the United States Championship now. So, yeah, I honestly, if you think about it, a triple threat with Cesaro, Sheamus, and KO makes the most sense for Hell in a Cell right now.
And on top of that, you've got Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose all babyface. You could start slowly building towards a Club Shield Survivor Series match. You got Anderson and Gallows could start feuding with Rollins, and then Roman kind of maybe makes the save or something. And then obviously you got AJ and Dean are already fighting. And I think it's almost coming together almost nicely on something we had on our wish list back in January.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if they do that, Club need to win the fucking tag titles tomorrow night. Because as of right now, the Club are in no way on the level of a freaking the Shield.
Yeah.
And that is not their fault. Like, it is 125% not their fault. They came in with the momentum of a Shield, but WWE has dropped the ball with them so many times over the past 6 months that it makes my head hurt. But if you want to lead to a Club versus Shield match, which I think would be dope as shit, the Club in Anderson and Gallows need to be elevated like now. There's no, if you're gonna do that, especially if you're gonna do that Survivor Series, you need to elevate these guys on Raw, like immediately. It has to happen.
Yeah, I don't argue with you there. Bayley's shown getting ready for her triple threat women's title match in the locker room. Nice little tribute to Dusty Rhodes on her gear tonight. And then the women's champion Charlotte came out. What's that?
The women's champion?
Trampion, yes.
Wow.
Trampion.
I kind of like that. That's a new gimmick.
I hiccuped as I was saying champion.
Well, I actually really like it.
But it came out as Trampion.
You should have just owned that, man.
I own it now, so there you go. So she comes there to talk trash to Bayley ahead of their matchup. So let's take a break from Clash of Champions and get on with the LITMC Ultimate Power Rankings. My power rankings of the 10 best wrestlers in TNA, Ring of Honor, and WWE. And maybe eventually I'll add Lucha Underground into that. We'll see. A debut at number 10 for the first time in my Ultimate Power Rankings, Matt. It is Bobby Roode.
Glorious.
The glorious and undefeated Bobby Roode is at number 10. Number 9, your new United States champion, Roman Reigns. Number 8, your TNA world champion, Bobby Lashley. I think he's given up that belt, though, at Bound for Glory. Just my 2 cents. Number 7.
I have to agree.
Number 7, the number 1 contender for the NXT Championship, Samoa Joe. He continues to stay on the list after dismantling Nakamura and sending him to the hospital. Number 6 is Dean Ambrose, who is in for a triple threat for the WWE World title at No Mercy. Number 5, I have elevated The Miz all the way up to number 5, just with the job that Miz has done lately. He is still your Intercontinental Champion. A couple of brilliant matches against Dolph Ziggler and, of course, cheating to win. But The Miz has performed admirably over the past few months. And, of course, I think bringing Maurice in was a huge bump for The Miz. And it's going to get him back into that world title picture eventually. Number 4, your Ring of Honor World Champion, Adam Cole, baby. Number 3, your NXT champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 2, I was going to have be your new number 1 if he would have won clean, but he didn't win clean. So number 2 is Kevin Owens, your WWE Universal Champion, and number 1 is your WWE World Champion, AJ Styles. I was mad I was going to put Owens in if he won clean because Styles didn't win clean.
He won cleaner than Owens won.
That's true. So Styles stays at number 1 on my list. What do you think of the top 10 of this Awika?
I'm cool with it. Can't hate.
And now for our 5 count. Best things to happen in the WWE since the brand split. Matt, who do you have for number 5? What do you have for number 5?
I have a guy you just mentioned in your top 10, the elevation of Miz and the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown Live. I love him. I feel like the Miz has done his best work on SmackDown since probably his WWE Championship reign going into WrestleMania 27. I feel like he's rejuvenated. I feel like he's found his stride again. I mean, it started the night after WrestleMania when he got Maurice back with him on television. I think that put him in the right direction. But I think SmackDown Live has almost reborn his character to another level. In his matches against everybody he's fought lately, especially Dolph Ziggler, have been fucking awesome. Yeah. So, you know, you can hate. Like, I feel like Dolph Ziggler needs to win in the worst way right now with the Intercontinental Championship. But, you know, you can't deny what The Miz has done for himself and for the Intercontinental Championship as a whole on SmackDown right now. And I can't say that would be done right now without the brand split. So that's why it's on my thing at number 5.
I didn't have Miz in just because it started before the brand split, but there obviously are big moments since the brand split which warrant putting Miz in there. Miz has a part in my top 5, but that exactly and that's how, you know, I mentioned it when I got on Skype with you tonight. You know, I said our interpretations and how we're going to list things may come differently. So, while the Miz's run has been before the brand split, but there's been some good stuff after the brand split. He does have definitely has a spot since the draft occurred. My number 5 is the rise of the SmackDown Women's Division. It got off to a gloriously shitty start on the very first SmackDown Live of the brand split era. It was boring. It was terrible. Not many women got reactions. But since then, Nikki Bella has come back. They have turned Carmella heel. Alexa Bliss has elevated herself greatly. Becky Lynch is your women's SmackDown champion. Eva Marie is coming back soon. It's a good division. Yeah, exactly. So the rise of the SmackDown Women's Division is my number 5. Matt, what's your number 4?
Before we continue, I don't have the women's division on my top 5, but I absolutely agree that that's something that can easily be an honorable mention on my list. I actually enjoy the women's division on SmackDown right now more than I enjoy Raw's, because I feel more women are being given more of an opportunity to have multiple feuds on SmackDown right now, and it's really not happening on Raw at the moment.
And it's a shorter show.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, I don't, I love Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah.
But I feel like the best women's division, the way it's being handled creatively, and the multiple storylines, I think SmackDown's killing Raw right now.
They are.
And I think they're killing them in a lot of things. But it's another conversation for another time.
Kevin Owens with a simple tweet, I win.
Yes. I don't blame him. If you don't put yourself over, no one else will.
Exactly. All right, Matt, you're number 4.
Number 4, I hate to say short-lived, but it was the short-lived meteoric rise of Finn Balor on the main roster. And one could only imagine how high this could have been on my list had he not suffered that injury at SummerSlam.
Exactly.
His double win on his first night at Raw, the introduction of the Demon King, quote-unquote, character, his match with Rollins, that he had an amazing match at SummerSlam with a fucking torn injury in his shoulder. Like, I can't remember what part was torn, but, he had a separated torn shoulder, and he still had that amazing match. Imagine how much better that match might have been had he not have been injured, like, in the first 3 minutes of the match. Yeah. Just unbelievable. Nobody deserved it more than that dude. Paid a lot of dues down in NXT to come up and get that chance. And I'm standing by that Finn Balor will return at the Royal Rumble, and he will win, and he will go after the Universal title at WrestleMania.
That'd be an awesome moment. That's for damn sure. My number 4 is Talking Smack.
Ooh.
Post-shows
I'm liking some of your ideas that I totally didn't think of.
Post-shows have usually just been boring.
And I normally refuse to watch them, but I've caught every edition of Talking Smack.
Post-shows have usually just been paint-by-numbers recaps and boring. Nothing much. Maybe an interview or two here, but nothing ever really happens out of them. Talking Smack breaks that mold completely with Daniel Bryan and Renee Young. There have been angles such as Carmella attacking Nikki Bella again on probably the greatest Talking Smack of all time, which was the same one that Daniel Bryan and The Miz had their famous promo, where The Miz had cut the promo of a lifetime on. Talking Smack is just a phenomenal show, and so I've got them at number 4 on the best thing since the brand split. Matt, number 3.
Number 3. Before I jump into number 3, I just have to say how amazing this is as a child of the 8-bit era. WWE has released TJ Perkins' entrance theme on their official YouTube page, and the title of the theme is "Playing with Power."
Ah, nice.
And honestly, if you grew up in mine and JB's era of video games, that name is awesome. So I just want to put that out there. I think that's fantastic. Number 3, and I even thought putting this higher, but just two other things beat it out. It's the MVP of the draft. The one-man band, baby. Heath freaking Slater.
We matched. We have the same number 3.
Like, could you have ever imagined Heath Slater getting this type of push without a brand split?
I know.
Like,
no.
he taken his promo work, his in-ring work, his everything to another level after this draft has happened.
Did you see his new above ground pool?
I had no. Are there actually photos?
He took a picture. He posed in front of the pool, I think, on Friday.
I have not seen it.
Yep. It's out there. He just got it installed.
That's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it.
My number 3 exactly matches Heath Slater's rise to stardom. The free agent gimmick was a great storyline going into Raw and SmackDown, and it morphed into a great tag team with him and Rhino, and it led to them winning the SmackDown titles. Now I think it's going to be a short-lived title reign. I do think the Usos will probably beat them at No Mercy, but
I do too.
The main thing here is Heath Slater is signed to SmackDown. We don't know how long Rhino's going to be around anyways. I think this is just a good springboard for Heath Slater, and I do truly think we could get a Heath Slater Miz feud later on in the year if Rhino does have to go for his political responsibilities and they no longer have the tag teams. I can honestly say to you now, with 3 months left in the year, I think we will see a Heath Slater-Miz feud for the Intercontinental title.
I don't know if I'm going that far.
I am. He's been there for a while. I mean, it's not like it's a new guy to trust.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
strike while the iron's hot.
I'm still saying there's a chance Ziggler takes it from him, or an even greater chance. I'm still sticking by my idea that Daniel Bryan should bring Samoa Joe up to take that title from Miz.
That'd be so bad.
Because I just think that would just be amazing. And I can already picture Miz and Maurice's face as Bryan standing on the ramp and introduces the latest signing of SmackDown Live, and it's fucking Samoa Joe. Like, goosebumps. It would be amazing.
Miz would shit his pants.
Yeah, dude, it would be freaking fantastic. But like, I don't think Rhino's going anywhere. I think he might be gone for a couple weeks. I really don't believe that he's going to win his political campaign. I really don't. He's signed to a full-time WWE deal.
Okay.
So, like, as far as I'm aware, anyway. So I imagine he's going to go do his thing, and then he'll be back. He'll be back with the WWE afterwards. I'm not saying him and Slater are going to stay together as a tag team. But to me, everything matches up to the Usos. It seems like we're running a double transitional champion right now.
Yeah,
because it's very clear they want to put the tag titles on American Alpha. Like, it's very blatantly clear that those tag titles are going to American Alpha. So they put it on Rhino and Slater because they had to do that to give Slater his contract. So they're a transitional champion to move it to the Usos. So the Usos are a transitional champion to put the titles on American Alpha. You know, I feel like American Alpha is going to win the tag titles at Survivor Series. I feel like they're not going to wait any longer than that. They'll Usos will win the tag titles at No Mercy, and they'll drop them to American Alpha at Survivor Series. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Alpha's a new team, so I could see them not winning their first title match. I could see the Usos holding on to it for a little while longer, and maybe the second time around, Alpha beats them. Maybe
I feel like they protected Alpha way too much for them not to win the tag titles on their first opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone every time that Alpha they've only lost once on the main roster, but the way they got knocked out of the tournament and the way that they lost to the Usos on SmackDown were just absolutely blatantly overprotection of them to make when you're watching it that these guys didn't really lose, they got screwed.
Yeah.
So I feel like when they finally do get their shot and it's for the tag team titles, they have to win.
Well, what's your number 2, Matt?
Number 2 is Kevin Owens becoming the Universal Champion. Very deserving. I mean, let's face it, it's Raw's World Championship. So Kevin Owens is a WWE World Champion. Um, with the brand split, with only one world title, would we have ever seen this? I don't know. I
Yeah,
really
Kevin
don't.
Owens eventually.
You
I
know,
think so.
But maybe 2 or 3 years down the road. But
Yeah.
I don't know if we would have seen it this soon. I feel like the brand split sped a lot of things up and has forced WWE to push a lot of people. And it's about damn time because we needed a lot of people to get pushed. So yeah, KO becoming the Universal Champion, the flagship of Raw. Freaking great. I'm sure you already know what my number 1 is. But it is what it is.
My number 2 is Triple H returning to get Owens the Universal Championship.
That might have been somewhere on my list if he would have been on TV for more than a total of 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it was probably one of the greatest Raws of the year. It was one of the best moments of the year, so I had it in its own at number 2. Matt, what do you got for number 1?
The phenomenal one, man.
Yep.
Dude, if you would have told me even 2 years ago, like if you would have told me in September of 2014 that AJ Styles was going to be the WWE World Champion, I wouldn't have believed it. Dude, hell, if you would have told me the night of WrestleMania when he lost to Jericho, then hey, don't worry, in 6 months AJ Styles is going to be WWE Champion, I probably wouldn't have believed you then either. Mm-hmm. It's another Kevin Owens thing. Maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, world title, maybe AJ would have gotten that chance down the road. But freaking A, dude, he hasn't even been with the company a year. And AJ Styles is the WWE champion. And honestly, anytime I say that, I smile. Just because I've watched this guy's entire career. And I feel like there's hardly anybody that deserves it more than he does. And it's fucking great. He's blatantly, I love SmackDown Live. And him running the show is just like the icing on the cake and the cherry on top. It's fucking great, and I love the brand split because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And what I did for my number 1 was I basically lumped them all together. That the fact that Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles have been all world champs within the WWE since the brand split. Do you have any honorable mentions, Matt?
I would say the SmackDown Live women's division. It would be a fantastic honorable mention. I actually didn't plan any honorable mentions. But you mentioning that would absolutely be an honorable mention with me.
For me, I had the rise of the SmackDown tag team division, the Usos turning heel, Bayley's debut, the pairing of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, and the debut of the Cruiserweights on Raw. Those are some of my honorable mentions there. But the fact that Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, and AJ Styles, all have been a world champ since the brand split. And all 3 guys have been around the world, especially AJ Styles. So it's just amazing to think that they've been world champions in 2016 in the WWE, Matt.
It's fucking great, dude. I mean, and honestly, the brand split's doing a lot of great things for WWE right now, and some stupid creative aside. WWE's had a really good product since the brand split.
They have.
And, you got to tip your hat to them. It's good shit.
Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho, as we head back to Clash of Champions. Jericho making his entrance, and Michael Cole says, "Breathe it in, Byron," and Graves says, "It's drink it in, you stupid idiot." I thought that was kind of funny. A hell of a match between Zayn and Jericho. No surprise there. Towards the end of the match, Zayn blocks the Lionsault by getting his knees up and rolls him over for a 2 count. Zayn hits a DDT and Jericho went to the floor. With Jericho on the floor, Zayn jumped between the middle and top rope and hit a DDT onto the floor. It didn't look as smooth as some of the other DDTs he's hit, I think, but it still, I thought, looked pretty damn good. That spot always is pretty cool. Zayn goes for a haluva kick, but Jericho avoids it. Zayn then hits an exploder into the corner, and another haluva kick is missed, and Jericho slaps on the walls of Jericho. Zayn fights out into a small package for a 2 count. Zayn then hits the Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall, and when he went to pick him up again, Jericho hit the Codebreaker for a great 14-minute match. So this probably, Matt, falls into the great match, bad booking category, in your opinion?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we discussed earlier, it seems like you're going to be running into we're going to be getting Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho at Hell in a Cell. Like, I feel that makes sense. Rollins had his shot. Rollins had his quote unquote rematch. He's out of the picture now for the time being until he can, earn another title shot. So it feels like Jericho's in his, but you could have done that anyway, and he could have still lost earlier in the night to Sami Zayn. Jericho's fucking Teflon. Wins and losses at this point in his career don't matter. He's fucking Chris Jericho. He could lose every match for the next 6 months, and he's still Chris Jericho. Mm-hmm. And you can't take that away from him, and you're not gonna hurt him. He can't be hurt, like, legit. In the eyes of the fan base. Sami Zayn is not a proven commodity yet. He can be hurt. And I feel like this loss to Jericho tonight hurt him. So, it is what it is. I thought it was I thought it was the wrong choice. But it is what it is.
And I can't remember if I picked Jericho or not, because I think I picked Jericho.
I know I picked Jericho, but I wasn't happy about it.
No, or maybe I picked Zayn. I don't know. I can't remember now. It was 2 days ago. It was so long ago. At first, with this Jericho and Owens group, this Jericho and Owens pairing, I thought Owens would be the guy to turn face and Jericho would remain the heel. But now I think Owens is going to be that corporate guy, and Jericho is his current character has been so well liked with the WWE universe, with the stupid idiot, the drink it in, man. I think Jericho turns face again once this group splits up, and because I do think there will be an Owens Jericho Universal title feud down the line very, very, very soon. So I think Jericho is going to turn face.
I don't know about that.
Why do you say that?
You can't. Jericho's doing some of his best heel work in the last decade right now. I think turning him face would be a gigantic mistake. Because he returned as Cold Dad face, and it didn't freaking work. And he's evolved his character yet again, and it's something that he wasn't doing when he first came back, but he's evolved his character into a new iteration of Chris Jericho now. I think turning him face would be the worst thing that they could do to him right now.
Well, how do you play out this whole thing with Kevin Owens? Do you just keep them together for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I keep them together until Jericho goes off to do Fozzy again. Like, I sooner or later he's gonna have to go. He's not gonna be here, much longer. So that's what I would do.
Then they show after that match they show the KFC commercial with Ziggler and Miz, where Ziggler looks like Kurt Russell. Then they show the Hispanic Heritage video for Hispanic Heritage Month with Roberto Clemente. And then they cut backstage where Kevin Owens is backstage with Stephanie and Mick. And basically Stephanie and Mick are kissing the ass of the champion, kind of, and just a typical little promo between those people. Then that sets up the Raw Women's Championship match. Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and this one was a good one that went 14 minutes. And Matt, again, common theme, great match, bad booking.
Look, I expected Charlotte to retain. I know this will be an unpopular opinion, but for Charlotte to retain, the right person lost. Especially with Hell in a Cell being in Boston, Sasha Banks' hometown. There's no reason that Sasha and Charlotte's one-on-one rematch shouldn't happen next month.
Yeah.
But for Bayley to lose to a big boot, like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, and somebody even pointed this out on Twitter. Charlotte, you have your own finishers. Don't go stealing Billy Kay's freaking NXT finisher right now.
I was waiting for the leg. I was waiting for the leg drop to happen after that.
Good lord, dude,
brother.
Seriously, you could have used your spear and beat her with the spear. You could have hit natural selection because it was very clear they didn't want to have the time of doing the figure 8 submission. So they could have easily done the natural selection or a spear to get the win. Losing out to the big boot was weak as shit.
Yeah.
But as I said, I expected Charlotte to retain. I didn't want her to, but I expected it. I guess Sasha becomes 2-time champion at Hell in a Cell, and I'm going out in a bold prediction right now, JB, and I'm telling you right now, and everybody listening, Sasha and Charlotte for the WWE Raw Women's Championship will be held inside Hell in a Cell.
That'll be badass.
That's a feud worthy of being put in that cell.
Yep.
And that would be a huge thing for the women. Plus, it would be something to keep Dana Brooke out. It's an excuse. Excuses. Everybody can. There's no interference. There has to be a winner between these two. And I think they would fucking kill it. I'm calling Sasha and Charlotte in Hell in a Cell next month.
Yeah, it'd be very cool if they do that. It'd be monumental for sure.
Oh, they say there's a women's revolution right now. Prove it.
Yeah.
Because they would never have done this with the Divas.
Yeah, going back to natural selection, I guess WWE's thought is she hit it on Bayley for a 2 count earlier. But again, you hit it again, and you get a pin. So, yeah, I was baffled that a boot into the match. That was just weird.
Yeah, JR Jim Ross pretty much buried the fact of all the finishers that were kicked out of tonight throughout the show.
Yeah,
and I agree with them. There were way too many. There were way too many finishers kicked out of tonight throughout the entire show. So it meant a lot less when something like that happened in the main event.
Next up is the United States Championship. Rusev takes on Roman Reigns. They kind of go a little slow to start off with, and that apparently the crowd didn't care for the slow start as CM Punk started getting chanted. Dude's been gone for a couple of years, guys. Get over with. Of course, he got beat at UFC, so maybe he'll come back. Who knows? But I thought it was a good match between the two. These guys always have some good chemistry together. I thought it was a very solid match between these guys.
I thought their match on Raw was better.
Yeah, it was
the one they had before SummerSlam.
The 25-minute one.
Yeah, I thought that match was better. I thought that match was a lot better. I felt the entire second half of this match revolved around ways that Roman Reigns could run into Rusev's standing sidekick. Because that's really what the entire second half of the match felt like. Just like ways that Rusev would hit him with that move. Like it just felt like so repetitive. Like I loved it. I mean, the match was good, don't get me wrong. But I feel their match prior to SummerSlam was head and shoulders better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they really killed the Accolade tonight.
Yeah, because
they fucking ruined the Accolade, dude. Why am I ever supposed to buy that as the devastating finisher again after that?
At the end of the match, Rusev slaps it on after 3 stomps to the back of Roman Reigns. Rusev slaps it on, has it on for a while, but then Reigns is able to power out of it. And as Rusev goes to charge, he meets a spear from Roman Reigns, which got the 1-2-3 after a 17-minute match.
And they did the fucking Sasha Charlotte finish from Raw when Sasha won the women's title. And Sasha got it, and Charlotte got up and said, "You'll never beat me." And the next move was the finish for Sasha to win the title. They did the exact same finish with Rusev and Sheamus. With Rusev and Reigns. I was like, are you kidding me? You know, guys, you just did this a month and a half ago. Like, did you come back in the well that quickly?
Yeah, no shit. Seth Rollins backstage, and Mick and Stephanie show up and kiss his ass too. Seth says, well, everything you say is a lie, Stephanie. And they continue to go on back and forth with the same stuff they've been talking about for a while. And that sets up our main event. But before that, a commercial for Hell in a Cell, the next Raw pay-per-view, October 30th in Boston. And here we go, WWE Universal Championship, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. This was a classic, and with a classic with an odd finish. This match went 25 minutes. I thought it was a great match, but obviously a little overbooked at the end. I thought the ref bump and all that. I mean, ref bumps here and there are okay, but I don't know. It's just weird that there was a ref bump, Matt, and then as soon as Stephanie sent John Cone out as the second referee, and Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb, it's like, and then the look on Stephanie's face, it was almost like Stephanie sent out that referee knowing that Rollins was going to get pinned right there, and
which logically makes no sense.
Yeah,
like how would
if
she
had nothing?
How would she know that?
You know,
I mean,
well, I'm
there's
saying,
nothing wrong with her sending out a second referee, but doing it with the knowledge that Owens was about to win doesn't make any sense either. I feel like I love Owens, I love Rollins, but I feel like the ending of this match, the second Jericho came out, from that point to the finish, it was an overbooked mess.
Yeah, it was overbooked,
and I don't feel like it did Owens any favors as the champion to have his first defense won like that.
I thought it was funny that Jericho came out in his wrestling trunks wearing a KO shirt and the scarf. That was quite a fashion statement.
Well, it was funny, but it didn't mean it wasn't the beginning of overbooked hell.
No. Well, I like the outside when Kevin Owens told the ref to suck it. I thought that was hilarious. And got a good pop from the crowd.
There was lots of sucking it going on tonight.
And then he told Rollins to suck it as he did a senton from one table to the other, but he missed and destroyed the Spanish announce table. And then Rollins returned the favor and told Owens to suck it. So there was a lot of suckets. He hit the pedigree, but Jericho put Owens' foot on the rope, and so the ref had seen that and stopped the count. Owens went up for the pop-up powerbomb, but Rollins bumps into the referee, knocking him down. Rollins nails the pedigree on Owens, and the fans counted to like 20 while the referee was down. Jericho starts attacking Rollins, and Rollins then gives Jericho a back body drop onto the floor. Rollins takes out Jericho with a suicide dive, knocks down Owens with another suicide dive on the opposite side of the ring. That's when Steph sent down John Cone to the ring, and Owens hits the pop-up powerbomb just like that when the second referee comes out for the win after a 25-minute match. So Kevin Owens is still your Universal Champion. So what were your thoughts on that main event other than just that overbooked, but the right guy won?
Yeah, the right guy won. I loved the match until Jericho came out. Like I just felt like the end of the match was very overbooked, and it just didn't flow well for me at all. It feels like everything was thrown off a step. It's really hard to explain. You know,
I think Jericho gets put in the title picture with Rollins and Owens for Hell in a Cell.
I don't know. I don't know.
Owens got beat, but it was fishy. But at the same time, Owens got beat or Rollins got beat. I almost think it's just a perfect fit to put Cesaro and Sheamus in there for a triple threat. But I don't know. A lot of questions will be answered on Monday, I'm sure. As we look ahead to before we look ahead to what's next, we have put our poll up. Thanks to the dozens of people that did vote on our poll after the pay-per-view came off, and not overwhelmingly great results. Only 9% of the crowd voted an A. The majority, 40%, voted B, 26% C. But I think one of our highest D or F ratings since we've been doing the polls on Twitter, 25% gave it a D or F, Matt.
Yeah. It was a polarizing pay-per-view, and I think a lot of it had to, like I said, I think a lot of it had to do with the creative. But if you look past the creative for the actual work, like it was fucking great. Just the creative really sucked.
Yeah, it was. There's no doubt that the matches themselves were just phenomenal tonight. I don't know. I guess it's I guess let's see where they go to on Monday. Maybe things make more sense. Sometimes they do after a pay-per-view, and we're left asking why. Sometimes those questions are answered the next night, Matt. So maybe it'll make a little more sense after tomorrow.
God, I'm already worried. I think they're going to do the U.S. Open Challenge with Roman Reigns.
Hey, who said that on Lost in the Midcard 2 days ago?
I don't, dude. He just cut a promo for WWE. It said he wants to take the title to every city and fight for it along the way.
Our predictions
I would not be surprised if this is the beginning of doing that.
So, I said that this exact same thing was going to happen in our predictions.
Well,
I said Roman Reigns is going to do a U.S.
Right on it.
Yeah, I said Roman Reigns is going to do a U.S. Open type of thing with it when he wins the title, because we both predicted Reigns to win this title tonight. And if you go back 2 days and listen to our predictions, I did say a U.S. Open challenge was coming with Reigns. And that was not even rumored in news or anything. That was just me saying.
Just speculation.
So. All right, so where do we go from here? Obviously, in the tag team division, we've already discussed that. The club should try get a win on day 400. But if they don't, it looks like it's going to be the New Day to till December. Is there any other contenders right now that you would put in there against the New Day?
No, because to be perfectly honest with you, the tag team division on Raw right now is incredibly weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got Enzo and Cass.
They very much hurt Enzo and Cass by feuding them with the fucking Shining Stars. I really thought that was going to lead to a blow-off match on the pay-per-view, where Enzo and Cass be on the pre-show or the main card. Enzo and Cass were going to get their win over these idiots and move on.
Amazingly enough, they weren't even on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and they didn't do that. I feel Enzo and Cass would be a great challenger to the club. But Enzo and Cass against the New Day doesn't make any sense.
What other tag teams do they have? The Shining Stars, the Golden Truth.
Yeah, the tag division on Raw is not good. It's really not. Like the tag division on SmackDown.
Who am I missing? It was the Dudleys, but they retired.
Yeah.
So there's only 5 teams, truly.
They
got to figure something out.
Like I said, I think the right choice right now is to put the titles on the club on Monday.
In the cruiserweight division, it seems like T.J. Perkins and Brian Kendrick's feud is only just getting started, and I'm okay with that because we've only seen the cruiserweights for 1 week on Raw, so I'm fine with building a story finally leading up to another cruiserweight title match, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know if I go right back to Kendrick and Perkins immediately. But definitely something down the road you should revisit. You know?
Give Cedric a chance, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't think it would be bad.
Or who would you put in there next?
I don't know. They just have a wide range of cruiserweights right now, and I don't want the cruiserweight division on Raw to turn into the women's division on Raw.
Or
that there's only one or two people
throwaway
fighting for
3-minute.
the title, and then everybody else isn't doing anything.
Hmm.
I don't like where's Summer Rae. Prime example. And I mean, we hadn't before Alicia Fox got this little thing going with Nia Jax. We hadn't seen Fox since the draft either.
And
So
we haven't seen
I don't
same with
want
Paige.
yeah, well, Paige is
She's
out
been
hurt.
hurt. Yeah.
So I'm imagining she'll be back soon. But I don't want to be based on the champion and whoever he's currently fighting, and then everybody else is like, then everybody else mean nothing. So I hope they don't do that.
And we just had mentioned the U.S. title. Like I said, I predicted that a U.S. Open Challenge was coming up. Who would be? I guess obviously Rusev. Probably, I think they're probably not going to finish that feud. They may finish it off somewhere between now and Hell in a Cell. Who knows? What is there anybody that you would like to see in this division for the title to challenge Roman Reigns? Is there any ones? Braun Strowman. Yeah, that could be. The women's championship we discussed. Hopefully, it does lead to Charlotte and Sasha inside Hell in a Cell. That would be badass. And the Universal title. Basically, that's up in the air. Are they going to go with Cesaro and Sheamus, or are they going to go Jericho and Rollins? There's a lot of different ways they could go here. Matt, what way would you like to see?
Well, like I said earlier, Jericho and Rollins makes sense, and that triple threat makes sense. Question I have at that point: what the hell are you doing with Sami Zayn?
Yeah.
I mean, of all the people they chose that they felt needed a fresh start on SmackDown Live, they picked Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you're not going to use people like, Sami Zayn and Cesaro and people like that to the utmost of their abilities, put them on SmackDown. Don't let them squander their time away on freaking Raw.
Would you do a short-term reunited tag team with him and Neville? Maybe feud with the club or something.
It would make sense if the club had the tag titles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Neville and Zayn as a tag team. They could do that for 6 months until they figure out what to do with them later on.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of questions that need answered. I think we'll have to wait till Raw to get those answered. That's for sure. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. And I'd like to thank you for joining in as we approach episode 100. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host and enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Just do a search for Lost in the Midcard and hit subscribe. That way you'll know every time a new episode comes your way, typically every Thursday and also Monday after a WWE pay-per-view. We are also subscribable on YouTube, and the links to all that are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. Go to the notes section there, and that's where the links will be. We're also on the Twitter. Make sure to follow us at LITMC Podcast. Of course, we put up polls and all sorts of interesting retweets and everything all throughout the week, so make sure to follow us there. Before we ride off into the sunset, Matt, what are your final thoughts as we leave Clash of Champions?
It's a lot of this creative could be washed away tomorrow night on Raw. Who knows if it's going to be? Probably not. But I mean, let's give them the benefit of the doubt to see where they go on Monday. Me personally, I'm looking more forward to SmackDown on Tuesday, and the road to No Mercy continuing on. So we'll see what happens.
We've got a world title match on SmackDown this Tuesday. With
that's crazy.
Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles are going to go one-on-one for the title. That's going to do it for Matt Black. This is Jeremy Bennett. Make sure to follow us on the Twitter at RawFShowtime and at JB Huskers. Until then, we will catch you on Thursday.